we're getting to know zero casualty on the Indian side. Pakistani drones fizzled and failed. Pakistan, in fact, wasted its ammunition as well as drones. And India's strong response last night has been that there has been no casualty on the Indian side at all.
Right. We have Srinjoy Chaudhary joining us on the broadcast with more details. So no casualties on the Indian side. Plus, of course, we thwarted and negated all attempts made by Pakistan.
Yes, first of all, and most importantly, yesterday the civil administration and the military worked very well together, and as a result, in all of the Northern Command areas, there have been no casualties at all on the line of control and the IB. So which means that Pakistan has really wasted its artillery. The previous day there were some casualties, but this time the civilian administration was very, very good, got all the people concerned into the bunkers. Secondly, to your question on the drones, yes, when the drone attack happened, there was about half an hour of concern, but very quickly the authorities worked out the drones. They knew what to do with them. They knew how to deal with them. They knew how to defang them. And that's precisely what has happened. The drones really have come to nothing. Meanwhile, the Indian security forces have been hitting back as far as these artillery duels are concerned. And what we hear is some targets on the other side have been hit. And these are military targets that have been hit. Now we are waiting for clear assessment of how effective they have been. There have been hits, there have been positive hits, but how bad has it been?
Right.
It has been bad, but how bad is something that is being worked out. That, of course, we will get to know soon.
Right.
But the other side, the Pakistani military has suffered because of the artillery attack, artillery replies that have come from the Indian side. So no casualties at all on the Indian side yet, all of yesterday, and the drones have been dealt with. That's really the two big things that we are getting as far as yesterday's pyrotechnics
so clearly
were
the
concerned.
drones, missiles that were being sent by Pakistan late last night were successfully intercepted by the Indian forces. But Srinjoy, you know, with the way the Raksha Mantri said yesterday that this Operation Sindoor is still ongoing. It is still underway. What we saw last night was clearly part 3 of Operation Sindoor. We were expecting a press conference by Ministry of External Affairs. That hasn't happened. When can we expect that? Because we are also waiting to hear the official version in terms of the kind of casualties that we saw on the Pakistani side.
That will take a couple of days perhaps, because you will have to do damage assessment. Now, damage assessment is often done through satellite pictures and observations. Now, that will take a while, maybe through drone pictures as well. We don't know, but that will come very soon. And we will know very clearly what kind of damage has been inflicted upon the military of Pakistan. The Indian government and the Indian people are not involved in attacking civilian sites. We don't try to do that. But we would repel attacks from the Pakistani military, reply to Paki artillery or mortars or whatever, and that has been done. The damage assessment we'll get to know soon. But yesterday, the artillery assault and the drone attacks, both of them did not succeed. That's the bottom line. And most importantly, there were no casualties.
That's the most important thing. There were no casualties on the Indian side. Squadron leader power. In fact, what we're picking up and what Srinjoy was just telling us is that Pakistani drones fizzled and failed and they wasted their ammo.
So what happens for this type of situation, like what we did on 7th and what they did on 22nd and what we did on 7th, we were preparing for it. We don't rely on luck. You know, in peacetime also, armed forces, we practice a lot. And when we practice a lot of near real-time exercises. So what happens, how we practice that, we simulate a scenario where in case our adversary, Eastern or Western adversary, if they attack on us with their resources, how are we going to react? And hence, what we did yesterday and day before yesterday was result of that constant, rigorous practice and training that we go through during peacetime. So when we say that we have defeated, neutralized all the weapons, whether it is drone or missile system of Pakistan that they fired at us, it is not that they were stupid to use those type of assets, but we were smart enough to practice and plan our strategy. Everything was in place. We were expecting it. So kudos to the armed forces, whether it is Air Force, Army, or we must not forget civil defense services also, the way they have trained people, not only physically what they're supposed to do, but even mentally. There is no situation of panic. If you go and talk to locals, what I've been seeing, through your channel, that people are calm. They have full trust on the system. That also comes after you train them mentally, when they are ready to take that shock effect also. So it's a winning situation for armed forces as well as civil defense services as well.
Well, that's an important point you've made. And Major General Jaini, how will you like to respond to this latest development? The information that Srinjoy brought to us on Pakistan's provocation last night, 0 casualty on the Indian side. Pakistani drones, in fact, fizzled and failed. And in fact, it was Pakistan that wasted its ammunition as well as drones.
Very true. You see, casualties will all depend, as the squadron leader Pawar just brought out, on the degree of preparation, on the degree of mental orientation, and on the degree of personal fortification that is made available to either side. Pakistan has failed to do that because their attention is different. They are most of the time busy in diverting attention from the basic muddas, from the basic essential problems, the things which are bugging them, and trying to convince their people that, oh, we are doing very well, we are winning, we were not able to do, saying that the Indian drones could not do anything, and all sorts of the bizarre statements that the Raksha Mantri, you must have also heard the chief of the CGSC, the chief of General Staff Committee, making a statement this morning that we are on the winning side, and we have done this and this and that, and he was all gaga about what the Pakistan army has been done. Naturally, if you're going to do all that face shaving and just bullshit in terms of your own ego in your own positions,
right,
then naturally your people on the front line, your civilians in the villages are bound to die. They were talking of the madrasas. You would recall the video footage when the Indian forces attacked those 9 locations. One of those locations showed a very big madrasa. The terrorist camp showed a madrasa there. Now, for them to turn around and say, oh, the Indian army is tokoing our madrasas, it is wrong. Why do you have a madrasa in a jihadi militant training camp? So, and on our side, we have village defense schemes, we have the civil defense system, we have got the volunteers, the civil defense volunteers, we have bunkers,
because, sir,
we have shelters.
These are the nurseries, these are the training grounds, for the terrorists there. And when those were targeted, when Operation Sindoor was launched by the Indian Armed Forces, that's when, Pakistan came out and said, oh, our civilians have been targeted. Again, began this fake propaganda to influence the world that, oh, India has targeted the, civilians, innocent civilians. But actually, it was the military establishments, the terror factories of Pakistan that were targeted. Requesting all of you to stay on with us. We're